Ridgeview Military Academy was a name that stood for discipline, for structure, for turning troubled teens into responsible adults. For years, parents sent their children to Ridgeview, believing its polished uniforms, its strict morning drills, and its rigid rules could mold anyone into a model citizen. But beneath the shiny surface, behind the walls of order and obedience, a dark secret was growing. A secret that would unravel everything the Academy stood for and end in one of the most shocking crimes it had ever seen. At the center of this story are three cadets. First, there was Liam Grant. At 17, he was the golden boy of Ridgeview. Focused, sharp, and respected by every instructor, Liam was on the fast track to graduating with top honors. He was the kind of cadet everyone looked up to, the one destined for greatness. Then there was Evan Cross, also 17. Evan was Liam's childhood friend, a quiet, introspective boy with a difficult home life. He'd always lived in Liam's shadow, but his loyalty was absolute. To him, Liam wasn't just a friend, he was a brother. And finally, there was Maya Collins. At just 16, Maya was a force of nature. She was bold, intelligent, and had a rebellious spark that drew people in. She'd only been at Ridgeview for 6 months, but in that short time, she'd captured the attention of nearly every cadet on campus, especially Liam and Evan. A secret relationship soon blossomed between Liam and Maya. At Ridgeview, romantic relationships were strictly forbidden, a rule designed to keep cadets focused on their training. But rules like that were just a challenge for someone like Maya. They would meet in secret, often after lights out, finding quiet corners behind the abandoned obstacle course. It was their own hidden world, away from the prying eyes of the Academy. What Liam didn't know was that Maya wasn't just confiding in him, she was also talking to Evan. She shared her frustrations about the Academy, the constant pressure, the suffocating rules, the deep-seated loneliness she felt. Evan was a good listener. He comforted her, offered a shoulder to lean on, and in those quiet moments of shared vulnerability, he began to fall for her. One night, as they were talking, Maya leaned in and kissed him. For her, it might have been a fleeting mistake, a moment of confusion. But for Evan, it was life-altering. He believed it meant something more. And from that moment on, the fragile bond between the three friends began to fracture. This is where the story turns. A dangerous love triangle, built on secrets and lies, was forming. Evan was convinced that Maya loved him. Liam, completely unaware, believed Maya belonged only to him. Maya, caught in the middle, likely believed she could manage both their affections, keeping her worlds separate. But triangles built on deceit rarely hold their shape. They almost always break, and this one was about to break violently. The breaking point came one evening behind the gym. Liam stumbled upon Maya and Evan together. He didn't see a kiss, just an intimate conversation, but it was enough. The way they looked at each other, the closeness, it was unmistakable. Liam didn't yell or cause a scene, simply turned and walked away, his face a mask of cold fury, his mind spiraling into a place of dark jealousy. Evan tried to run after him, to explain that it wasn't what it looked like. Maya tried to calm the situation, to smooth things over. But it was too late, the damage was done. Liam's hurt wasn't just sadness, it was morphing into a cold, calculated anger. Something dangerous had been ignited. That night, the tension erupted. Liam confronted Evan in their barracks. The whispers of betrayal turned into heated words. Words turned into shoves. Fee! The fight escalated until instructors had to pull them apart, shouting orders and issuing stern warnings. Both cadets were put on notice. But the fight didn't end there. It just went underground, festering in the shadows. The next day, Maya received a message to meet them. She found both Liam and Evan waiting for her behind the old boiler room, a derelict, forgotten part of the campus, rarely visited by anyone. She walked in, likely expecting another argument, another chance to explain. What she didn't know was that the two boys had already been talking. She didn't know that they had forged a twisted, deadly pact. In their minds, both boys felt betrayed. Both believed Maya had deliberately played with their emotions. They had decided she needed to choose between them, right then and there. But what started as a confrontation about hurt feelings and teenage jealousy quickly spiraled into something far more sinister. Instead of fighting each other for her, they turned their combined anger onto the very girl trapped between them. The atmosphere in that dusty boiler room must have been terrifying. Maya tried to leave, to escape the suffocating tension, but Evan grabbed her arm, his grip tight. Liam moved to block the only exit, his expression unreadable. Their voices, calm at first, grew shaky with emotion, then escalated into furious accusations. The details of what happened next are chaotic. There was a shove, a scream. In the ensuing struggle, Maya lost her footing and fell backward. Her head struck the sharp, rusted corner of an old metal pipe. And then, there was only silence. A deafening, horrifying silence. Evan froze, his face pale with shock. Liam's anger instantly evaporated, replaced by sheer panic. Maya lay motionless on the concrete floor. It wasn't a premeditated plan to kill her. It was a moment of impulsive teenage rage that had gone horribly, tragically wrong. But the result was the same. She was gone. Fear, raw and primal, took over. Their first instinct wasn't to call for help, but to hide their terrible secret. In a state of shock, they dragged Maya's body behind the massive, hulking boiler tanks, hoping no one would find her, at least not until they could invent a believable story. They thought they had bought themselves time. But secrets, especially ones this dark, don't stay buried for long at a place like Ridgeview. The truth began to unravel thanks to another cadet, Olivia Kane. Olivia had seen Liam and Evan sneaking back into the dorms in the pre-dawn hours. Their disheveled appearance and panicked expressions set off alarm bells in her mind. She knew something was wrong. Later that morning, when Maya failed to show up for morning drill practicer, serious offense at Ridgeview, Olivia didn't hesitate. She immediately alerted an instructor to her suspicions. Within hours, the academy's pristine grounds were swarming with local police. The search for the missing cadet had begun. The weight of the secret was too much for Evan to bear. He was the first to confess. Overwhelmed by guilt and terror, he broke down during questioning and told the investigators everything. Liam tried to hold out, to maintain his silence, but with Evan's confession, the truth was an unstoppable force. The evidence was against him, and his story crumbled. Both boys were arrested while still in their formal cadet uniforms, the medals for discipline and achievement pinned neatly to their chests. Those medals, once symbols of honor and a bright future, now meant nothing. They were just hollow pieces of metal on the uniforms of two boys accused of a terrible crime. In the aftermath, the case sent shockwaves through the community. Investigators labeled it a crime of jealousy, immaturity, and impulsive rage, a perfect storm of teenage emotion that had ended in tragedy. Ridgeview Academy, its reputation now stained, was forced to tighten its rules even further. Angry and heartbroken parents demanded answers, questioning how such a thing could happen in an environment that promised safety and control. The entire cadet community was shaken to its core. As for Liam and Evan, their futures ended the moment Maya's life did. Despite being teenagers, they were tried and sentenced as adults. Their once unbreakable friendship, forged in childhood, dissolved instantly in that boiler room. In the end, they turned on each other, each blaming the other for the decision that led to Maya's death. Ridgeview Academy eventually recovered, but it was forced to learn a painful and profound lesson. You can train cadets to march in perfect formation, to follow every rule, and to obey every command, but you can never train them to control the darkest, most unpredictable parts of the human heart. Thanks for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into fascinating cases. We'll see you next time.